Hey everyone, welcome back to the 30 Days of Halloween. Today I have a special effects tutorial on this claw wound. So first what you're going to do is wipe down your arm with a little alcohol wipe and just make sure that you don't have any excess oil on your skin wherever you're applying it. And then again, I'm using this product from Mayron. This is called Synwax, and I am just going to be digging out a little ball and then warming it up in my hands and kind of creating a little worm shape. So if you guys watch my zombie tutorial, you know I was struggling with this product a little bit because it is just so sticky, like way stickier than anything I've ever used. And as if we didn't know that coconut oil solved all of life's problems anyway, of course that's the first thing that I turned to, and it worked like a charm. I just put a tiny little layer of coconut oil on my hands, and this was so easy to work with after that. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is I just laid that little strip of wax down, and then I'm just going to be smoothing that out so that it blends in with my skin and trying to kind of maintain that raised skin shape. So after you have that smoothed out, if you ended up getting it a little too flat like I did, you can just pinch it up very carefully, making sure that you don't raise the wax off of the rest of your skin. So now I'm just going in and creating the actual wound shape or the gash shape, and I'm just going to be taking this second little row of wax and smoothing it down just the same way that I did with the first one. And this one I wanted to kind of have all of the claw marks curved in, like something had hit me, just like coming really fast, and they all ripped right at the same way. So I'm putting on another little strip of this, and I'm making sure that I left 5 little gash marks because most animals have 5 claws. So I am just going to keep repeating this process until I have 5 gash marks, just making sure that I roll this up in my hand to kind of warm up the product and make it easier to work with. And then again, just shaping it and placing it down. So once we get this finished, we can move along to the other details. So I'm going to show you what I did here, but I wasn't overly thrilled with what it did. I honestly kind of liked it better with just the wax, but I did end up putting liquid latex around the edges just to make sure that the edges of the wax would stay down. However, this just added a really weird texture around the piece, and then it made it really hard for me to add color. So honestly, I probably would have just left it wax instead of adding the latex. And then 2, the inside of my arm, as you guys can tell, is just like so pale, so pale. So it was very hard to match the color. I didn't really think about that starting out, so I was struggling with this a little bit, but I just wanted to leave that in so that you guys could see kind of how it worked, and then if you had some struggles of your own trying to do something like this, kind of some ways that you could remedy whatever you messed up. So I'm trying my hardest to match the color to the inside of my arm, and then once I've got that foundation over, that's what I was just putting on, then I'm going to powder it so that it just lays a little bit flatter with the rest of my arm. Now we start to add some color. So what I'm doing right here is taking some red body paint on a little brush, and I'm messily applying this into the cuts. It does not have to be perfect. This really is just to kind of start to add some color. I'm going to be putting some different blood products into these gashes as well, so it's really just going to make sure that all of the colors mix together and there's a lot of depth to these wounds. So now I'm just adding some black again just to add a little bit more dimension. So next I'm going to be taking this blush color on a fluffy brush. It is just a very warm kind of peachy red blush, and I'm just applying this all the way around the wound. Obviously, if you had anything going on this severe, any kind of cut or gash, you are going to have a very large amount of irritated skin around your wound. So you want to make sure that this is as realistic as possible and you kind of mimic what it would look like if you actually had something this severe. So since the inside of the gash, where you can see those ridges, are still very light, I'm going back and adding this on top of those as well, just to make sure that everything blends well. Now for for the gore, I am using two different blood products. The first one I'm going to be using is this one called Blood Scab, and this isn't quite a liquid blood and it isn't quite a gel. It's kind of right in between, so it gives a really realistic open wound gash effect. It also dries, but it dries kind of wet looking. So this is a really awesome product for any kind of wound like this, or just anything open. This actually was my brother's, but he did just get this at a Halloween specialty shop. So I'm just going to be applying this with a little silicone brush into each open wound. So the last product I'm going to use is by Graftobian, and this is a gel blood. You could totally just leave it how it is, but I kind of liked to apply this on the edges of random cuts just because it looks a little bit more like clotted blood, and on the edges that's where the air would hit first, so that's where you're probably going to scab first. So that is why I was applying that the way I did, and I just kind of randomly placed this. And this is the final look. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's too bad for my first time, so I hope you guys are enjoying my 30 Days of Halloween series. Don't forget to check out yesterday's video on this DIY slime. Please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the fun, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.